Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, Ancient Gladiator, today with Pillar Loves Tabletop Games. Today's episode is Builders of Baldur's Gate. Set in D&D City. Goal of the game is to have the most points at the end, and to that end you're going to be building on plots using your worker and favors to get extra stuff, build up your reputation with factions, build towers and keeps and gates. Very nice models to enhance your building portfolio in the case of the gates, and the defense of the city in the case of the towers and keeps, and trying to accomplish whatever your agendas end up being. Alright. As part of the setup for the game, plot tokens will be drawn from the bag, 8 of them. If you manage to put out all 4 for a district, redraw. These actual little trebuchet markers will go on those plots. Everybody will start with an HQ. A random card from a set of 9 will tell you where you start and give you your starting point for your portfolio. So at the start of income, you'll get money and supply. You can spend supply to get a building card from display, your worker back, or a favor. Oh, yeah. Every player will have their color with their scoring marker, their worker, their cubes for owning buildings and fortifications and gates. And they'll put a marker over by the faction track. Because I have the promo version, I've got the fancy tokens that are big and kind of block the symbols of each of the tracks. But they do look cool. In that you will start with 3 building cards in your hand that you can build. The cost is at the top. And at the bottom is what you can spend supply to do during your income step. Or in some cases, it might just straight up give you a supply, like the apartment. Or it might not do anything because of trade architect. You'll be dealt your 3 agendas. You cannot score your agendas until you get your reputation up with the factions. So, if you're at this point, or this point, or this point, you can score one of your agendas at the end of the game. For each one of these you have, you can score an additional one. So, if I get up here, I can score 1. If I can get all my influence up here, I'd score all of them. But I have to actually be working on all this stuff in the first place. There will be a building display of 4 cards. There will be the gates cards that are set aside. Let's see. Got your HQ marker out here. What else? You will start with 6 gold, 1 supply, represented by a bag, and 1 favor, represented by an envelope. Gold is how you buy buildings. Favor is how you use the special locations. And supply is how you'll use the buildings that you do have. I knew I missed a setup spot on all this. The I wish less games would do this, but it says the youngest player is the starting player. Really, just randomly is nicer. The attack marker starts here. The first attack of the game will be a strength of 1, and as the game goes on, um, further attacks will be stronger until the final attack of the game is maximum strength. If playing with less than 4 players, you'll draw an extra 4 for every missing player, and put prohibited markers on them. Nobody can build there. It blocks connections. Can't get through it. One of the tokens from the bag will be drawn face down. I can kind of feel it with my hands which side is down and which side's up. And put on the 5 space for the final attack of the game. Alright. And then you should be good to go. So on your turn, you've got 3 things you can do. You can build. Pay the cost of a building card in your hand. So 5 gold. And then put that type of building on an available plot in play. Some cards will restrict you to a district. So the Temple's Manor can only be built in the Temple's district. So we will take the appropriate tile, put it on an available plot, put our control marker there, and now this building goes to the right of your first card, your headquarters. I don't have a whole lot of space to work with, so everything's going to go underneath. I'm just going to have to make a note of anything I've got special ability-wise. Some of them will have special abilities, so like when you perform a high hull action, perform it twice. So here, I can spend favor to get council influence, or 1 favor to get 2. If I'm doing it twice, I would need to have the 2 favor, but I could go up to 4. And then during the gain income step, I can spend supply to get more points. More prestige, as it is. Alright. After you have built on a plot, you'll need to draw a new token from the bag. So 3. So that starts there. That goes there. When 4 plot tokens have been drawn for a district, it will come under attack. You will need to have enough fortification defense to hold it back. Every tower built in the district is worth 1. Building the keep is another 2. So your potential maximum defense per district will be 5. A lot of towers are going to be protecting multiple districts, except for the ones that only do 1, and those ones will have a point bonus. When the attacker is resolved, you look at their strength compared to the defense total. If the defense is equal to or higher, then the defense is successful. Everyone who contributed defense will get points. So let's say for a minute that we defended the ever-living crap out of this one. And it was red, blue, and yellow. Say yellow built the keep. Alright. So red, yellow, and blue are each going to get prestige equal to the attack strength for contributing defense. The player who contributed the most, and this is the most with no ties, gets a bonus equal to the prestige, or to the strength. So defending against this attack of 1, when the 4th token's been pulled here. Red and blue will each score 1, yellow will score 1, and then 1 more for 2. Prestige will be tracked along here. And then after the attack, the marker will get moved up. If an attack is not properly defended against, let's say we drew all the remaining plot tokens for the temples and there's no defense here. All buildings in that district, not any fortifications, just the buildings, will lose their control. They'll remain there, but no one will get the special bonuses for them being there. In addition, the district will have damage. What damage will do is increase the favor cost of the ability at the location by 1. The other thing that will happen with building is whenever you build, everyone adjacent by connected line with something gets a bonus. If you are adjacent with a gate, a tower, or a keep, it'll be 1 prestige. If it was a trade hall, you will get supply. A manor, you'll get a card off the top of the building deck. A market, you'll get a gold. Or an inn, you get your favor. So, place it, bonuses, check for attack, then check for defense. All part of the build. Oh, and building next to your headquarters gets you money. Or gets that player money, at least. Alternatively, you can choose to send your worker. There are 9 districts, so there are 9 potential locations to go to. Each one will have the free option, and then each one will have a pay 1 to 3 favor option. This is how you increase your faction standings, get favor when you don't have any, or build a watchtower. Refresh the building display and draw a new card, or build a gate. This is really the only way to build a gate outside of the guild faction track. You can get more supplies here. You can increase any of your faction tracks or build a keep. You can get money or build a building straight from the display for free. You can draw 2 cards from the top of the building deck, or take over any empty HQ space. When you take over an empty HQ space, it's basically the same as having your HQ there. It gets you money. People build next to it. And I believe that's it for those spaces. In order to get your worker back, you have to take the action during your collect income step, spend the supply, and get your worker back. Or workers can be bumped off of the spaces by another worker, which will send it back to you. Or if somebody builds in that district, you get your worker back. Deploy them strategically for what you know you're going to need. Getting more city defense is always a good thing. having more supplies to work with when you've got a ton of buildings is always a good thing. Just ramping up your faction influence to get all the bonuses is a good thing. Yeah, every time you raise your faction, you'll get stuff like money, supplies, favor, points, uh, keeps, watchtowers, gates. And again, getting to the fourth point lets you score one of your agendas at the end of the game. So you may get to a point where you have no money to build or no good options to build, and your worker's going to be out there stuck. So you might be left with collect income. You might do it before that, but in general, you're probably going to wait till it's your only option to really do it. So at the start of income, you will collect 6 money and 1 supply off of your basic HQ. There's rules for the advanced HQ, which we'll get into at some point. And then you get to use every building you've got. You'll probably have more space than me when you're actually playing this, so let's say, alright, so we got the supply, we got the money. And then we can spend 1 supply I have to either, if my worker was out there, get them back. Draw a building card from the display. Or get a favor. And if I've got another supply to work with, I can use that to get 2 points. They tell you to turn your card like 45 degrees to keep track of what you used this income step. Yeah. Build, send out your worker, or collect income is what you're going to be doing pretty much the entirety of the game until the game ends. The game will end when the last token from the bag is drawn. When that happens, everyone gets one last turn, including the player that ended the game. And then the final plot token will be flipped, and the final attack will be in that district. Hopefully, it is fully defended. Then after that, final scoring. You will score based on your agendas. So if I've been putting in the effort to build up here and here, then I can score 2 agendas, and I'm probably going to score the 2 that are kind of correlated with working that hard, unless I actually manage to do well with the agenda of wealth, which is to build the different types of buildings. Hopefully I've been able to keep those alive. Yeah, score your prestige off of those. You will count your biggest chain of buildings that you own, including fortifications. So let's see here. Say I've got that keep. I've got a market over here. And I've got that gate. And I had a couple other buildings, but the defense wasn't enough, and now they're empty. So this was my biggest group of buildings and fortifications. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8 extra points. So yeah, two for everything in that chain. You'll score based on the number of districts you own buildings in. Your HQ does not count, I think. I think you have to actually have the regular buildings of the inn, the market, the manor, or the trade hall. So let's say I've got here this demonstration's sake. Alright. It built after that attack happened. And there we go. Alright, let's say I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4 different districts. So that's worth 6 points. It starts at 1 point for one district, and then it just kind of snowballs up to 25 if you get all 9. Finally, you'll score your remaining things. Things include your gold, supplies, favors, and unbuilt building cards. That total divided by 3, rounded off, rounded down, is how many extra points you'll get from that. The most points will win, or most prestige. If there's ever a tie, most buildings. There's still a tie, fortifications. If there's still a tie, completed the most agendas. If there's still a tie, then there's no tiebreaker after that. So what is it that I liked about this game that after playing it for a board game final and even doing the little write-up on a community post that I just wanted to pick it up? With this, seeing everything just build up and just look awesome when it's ever all constructed and all that, it's pretty cool. I always appreciate when a game just adds to the kind of three-dimensionality of the presentation. And just seeing progress and development and things just grow. It's gonna suck when you lose your buildings because it wasn't properly defended. There's this kind of strategy there of, do you try to build buildings first or try to build fortifications? If you build buildings, then you risk the attack coming up before you can build to defend it. If you're building fortifications, it'll defend the district, but then someone else can build there and feel a little more secure about building there. I don't see this as a replacement for Lords of Waterdeep, but I do see it as a game I'm willing to play regardless. Lords of Waterdeep left an impact. It's kind of hard to ignore that as one of the stronger kind of worker placements, development kind of games with your secret goals and all that. But this is still pretty cool, I think. Yeah, that's if it gets to that point, that's about how topped out it's gonna look. I almost want to paint these, but I know I'm kind of suck at painting. Yeah, if you're looking for a game that's gonna flow quickly for a smaller group of players and is not too terribly difficult, but still has some interaction of using your buildings to take advantage of other people building next to it. I do wish there was more interaction beyond that, though. It'd be nice if there was a little bit more to kind of mess with players, but I can see this as kind of a stepping stone towards games like that. Like, here's kind of an introductory build stuff, to get more stuff and put that towards developing further. Yeah, it looks nice and it plays quickly, and that's why I'm gonna say I'm glad I got this one. I'm glad we went with it for the board game league final, and I really want to just try this more often because sometimes this is the kind of pace that I want to play with. You know, sometimes things get too complicated, and being able to have a game that kind of steps back a little bit, but still be interesting enough to offer some kind of strategic thinking is pretty good. So yeah, Builders the Baldur's Gates. Do check it out. It came out 2024. Our store got it in last year, and we only got 2 copies. So hopefully you can find it where you can. Thank you for watching. This has been Pillar. We'll see you next time.